Hey, what's going on? Eric Ortina, Texas Barndominiums. Today we're back at Barndo 214. We're gonna take these porches from this to this, and we're gonna show you how we do that. Stick around. All right, so usually we use a floor machine for all of our stuff. This has a broom attachment with a 60 grit. That's a pretty coarse broom actually. It actually has grit and all those bristles. We're doing about 7,000 square feet. So today we're gonna do all the prep work with this. This is a triple head grinder. This thing is gonna make short work of prepping these floors. We usually always sand the floors down and then we acid etch them. However, if you have the option, go ahead and grind them. It's a lot faster and it's actually a better process, but I understand a grinder is expensive and not everybody has access to one. That's why we have showed you how to do the acid etching. However, today we're doing a grinder. I'm gonna show you how we do that. So these are the heads under the grinder, and then you can replace these right here with different grits. These are a 70 grit, that's what we're gonna start with. We also have the option to do a 30 grit, but I think 70 is gonna work just fine for us. All right, so this is what it looks like after they ground it down. You can see they expose some of the aggregate. This is probably about a 200 grit sandpaper. So this is gonna ensure that the epoxy sticks really well. And now we're using a floor scrubber to kind of loosen up all this built up concrete or cream that the polisher picked up, and we're hosing it off with the water hose. If you try just to hose it off, it's really hard, so that we break it loose with the buffer with a broom attachment, and then it's a lot easier to hose off. Once it's cleaned up, you can use a foam squeegee to squeegee all the water off the surface. Foam squeegees work a lot better than rubber squeegees. They don't chatter.
Come on, can you come do it? Do it right this time? All right, sorry.
So this is what it looks like before it gets cleaned up. There is a lot of dust on the surface. Like I said, just put some water on it, scrub it, and hose it off or squeegee it off. You want to make sure that you get this concrete perfectly clean before the polyurethane gets put down. All right, so this one's cleaned up. Now we're gonna work on this one over here. Same process. It is about noon right now, so that slab's just getting hotter and hotter. So sealing right now is probably not a good idea. So we're gonna clean everything up, and then tomorrow we're gonna come back early in the morning when the concrete's cool, and then we're gonna start sealing. You want that concrete to be cool, otherwise that sealer's gonna dry way too fast on you, and it's not a good thing. So again, today we're gonna emphasize on cleaning up. All right, you can see how much paste is on the surface. So you have to break it loose with the broom attachment and then hose it off like Leroy's doing right now. You can see we end up with a perfect profile for putting down the urethane that we're gonna use. We're actually gonna use a epoxy base and a polyurethane top coat. All right, so we're back this morning. As you can see, it has all been cleaned up already. Perfectly clean. So now we're gonna start putting the sealer on, and we can't stop. Once we start, we cannot stop. We're gonna do this front porch right here. Then we're gonna do this other carport over here. And then there's a sidewalk between this carport and the house. At that point, we can take a break. Once we start the house again, we cannot stop. We have to maintain a wet edge the entire time. All right, so you can see we have all the sealers staged right here. This is gonna be the mixing area because we're gonna start over there, work our way this way, when we get to here, then we'll move the mixing station over there. But make sure you stage it ahead of time so that you're not running around. This is going to be the 5-gallon kits, so we're going to have to be mixing as we go. This is a 2-to-1 ratio, and we have a lot of mixing or measuring cups that we're going to be using as well. We're going to have 2 rollers, 2 guys cutting in the edges, and 1 guy mixing. That's the plan. The guy mixing is all he's going to do is mix. As our mix gets down to about 20% or so, we're going to get them started, mix another batch, and so on and so forth. All right, so because this is an outdoor area, we have to put some grip in the epoxy or the coating. So we're going to use sand. This is number 5 sand. And the problem is how to get it on there consistently, because I mean, this isn't a very large area. All these are. They typically say just kind of sprinkle it on there, but I just have never found that to be very consistent, and it just doesn't look very natural. So let me know in the comments how I can do this, because I have yet to figure out a very consistent way to do it. But anyway, once we get started, hopefully we got something figured out. I have an idea that might work. We kind of did a little test drive and it seems like it's going to work, but I'm not 100% sure. And once it hits that sealer, it's in there forever. So anyway, wish us luck. Why are you so sweaty, Leroy?
Because I'm the only one working. Look at everybody else. Go ahead.
Wow. All right, so he's mixing 2 parts A to 1 part B. The A has the color in it. And so we're gonna mix 3 gallons at a time. You don't wanna mix too much because that cuts the pot life shorter the more you mix together. So we're gonna do 3 gallons at a time and see how that works out. We've been using this Milwaukee leaf blower to put that sand on there. Man, it works really, really good. Right, Leroy?
Wonderful. Spread it out evenly.
Come on, Leroy's about to demonstrate how we do it. So first you have to get upwind, if you can. All right, we just got done with the first coat. It is 2:20 p.m. It is over 100 degrees for sure. But anyway, this is what it looks like. Of course, all the porches are done over there. This is the for the hot tub, sidewalks, and the fire pit. Like I said, all the porches around the house are done. Carports, everything. All right, we're back. This is day 3. As you can tell, the first coat already dried up. And we're just kind of going back through it all and doing some minor touch-ups. Some of these cracks didn't fully cover up, so we're using some 5-minute epoxy to fill those cracks, and hopefully we won't see them on the next coat. This sand looks incredibly consistent, so I'm very happy with that. The leaf blower worked really well for that. Here's the rest of it. This is the carport, and you can see some variations in the sheen, and that's just the epoxy buildup. That's why you always must do more than 1 coat, because it's really hard to get it consistent, only because the concrete soaks up the epoxy differently on different spots when it's bare. Once it's sealed like it is now, the second coat's going to go on a lot smoother. You can see here the sand coverage. looks really good. Very consistent. So the reason we do sand is because it is outside. We have to put grip on the concrete or on the coating itself, because if you don't, it's going to be extremely slippery when it's wet, and that's not a good thing. So that's why we did sand. But applying sand consistently is one of those things that has been my Achilles heel in floor coatings. I've never found a way to do it consistently until yesterday. I was driving around dreaming up of how we can do this, and my goodness, the leaf blower just worked perfectly. It just works so well that I am so excited. And but anyway, it just looks so good, so consistent. I'm happy for that. So they're going over the entire thing, scraping off some of the rough spots, blowing off some of the dirt, whatever's on here that doesn't belong. We're cleaning it all up before the next coat. All right, so the color doesn't match at all, as you can tell. So Leroy's gonna pull the lid off, and then we're gonna blend it really well. Hopefully that's the problem. All right, now it matches. That and that. All right, we just finished rolling this one. And now we gotta roll all this. So as you can tell, our mixing station is now in the sun, and there's pretty much nowhere else it can be. It's sun everywhere. So we're either gonna start mixing smaller portions, or we're probably gonna start icing down the mix so it's cool before he mixes it, because if we keep doing the same thing, once it gets hot, our pot life is gonna get cut really short, and we may not get it on the concrete fast enough. So keep that in mind. That's a lot of rolling. All right, so here's the finished product. Kind of hard to see because of the light, but you get an idea what it looks like. We have some grip on here because of the sand. Provides just enough friction so that you don't bust your butt when it's wet. My goodness, it's hot. So anyway, that's how the work is done. It is a lot of work. So if you want to do it yourself, you are going to save you some money, but I don't know if it's worth it. That's for you to decide. Anyway, thank you for joining us today, or these last 3 days. This has been very hard work, but anyway, we'll see you guys next time. We are Texas Barndominiums.